Hello, and today we're going to talk about making the pattern for your parts tray. This is done so that you learn how to do what's called pattern making, and so you learn how to do pattern making. You will use this drawing, and when you print it off to actually make your parts tray. So let's get started with this. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is go to your desktop. You should log on to your computers and go to your desktop. And I need to have you find the program called Layout. Now, SketchUp has the SketchUp 2017 or the Style Builder 2017. The third part of that is Layout. I have it down here in my taskbar, but you probably have it someplace over on your computer. So if you will double click on that and open that up, and you're going to come up with this page. All right, and what this does is just kind of gives you some hints on how to run the program. You can close that out, and then you're going to come to the next page, which is the different types of paper that we can use on our drawing. So we will be using landscape, and hopefully you know the difference between landscape and portrait. We will be using landscape. So we will be using, and if you can find this, Letter Landscape Division 4. Letter Landscape Division 4 is what you want right here. So go ahead and click on that, and then open it. And now you have taken out a piece of paper and you've put a piece of paper on your desktop. Now we need to make sure that we have the measurements properly noted. So to go to File, go to Document Setup, and that will open up your Document Setup panel. And on the left-hand side, you'll see you have Grid, Paper, Preferences, and Units. Don't worry about the rest of this. We're just going to go to Units. You should have fractional, inches to 1/64th of an inch. If you don't have that, just click the arrows down and change those to fractional, inches, and 1/64th of an inch, and then close it. Okay, so the tools you'll be using, the first one with the arrow on it, this is called your Select tool. This is the pencil tool, which has your lines and your freehand. We won't show you how to do the arc today, or the circles, or the polygons, because we're not going to use those. So the first thing I need to have you practice on is the lines. So click on your lines and watch how I do this. When I click and hold the mouse down, notice it extends a blue line to the left and a dotted line to the right. Okay. When you let go, it doesn't solidify your line. Notice I can take that and grab it and make curls on the end. It doesn't solidify until you double click. Okay, that's when it is ready to go. If you want to move this line because you don't like where you put it, click on your Select tool, highlight it, and notice what the plus sign is. Then I can move that anywhere on my screen. Okay, that will be helpful when we draw. Now, the other way to use the line tool is to click on your line again. This time, don't hold your mouse down, just click. And notice that when anywhere I move it now, it only goes in one direction. If I find the longest I want it, when I figure out where I want it to be, I double click on the end, and that's as long my line is going to be. Okay, so let's say I want to have a line that's exactly 2 3/4 inches long. I'll click on my line tool. I will then click, and then I will actually type. Now, if you look down here at the bottom, you'll see a length, a little thing down here at the bottom. You do not have to type in that blank. So if I want it 2.5 inches long, all I would type is 2.5 and enter, and my line snaps to the length that I want to go to. Then double click on the end, and that makes it, that solidifies it. Again, if I want to change that, I can change that. If I want to lengthen it, I can lengthen it by clicking on the end of the line and then lengthening it out what I need to. So it's really quite versatile. The other thing I need to show you is that when you want to move a line, again, you click on it, and you'll notice right here at the beginning, or right in the middle, it has a little circle. And as you move your mouse over, it turns into a rotation tool. So if I hold that down, and where that dot is right here, that is the pivot point of the line. If I want to change the pivot point, I can change the pivot point here, change my rotation, and now it looks like a clock, hands of a clock right there, because it's pivot right there. So I can do that anywhere I want to. Want to bring it over here and do this. It's kind of weird, but they have the same thing on this side as well. So it's really cool. You can do some fun things with that. The next thing is on your line tool, you have a freehand tool. That's kind of fun to use. You can make some, as long as you're holding your mouse down, you can make some interesting shapes. Notice it's coloring in some other things. And then you can change that and move that as well. All right, so I want you to stop the video right now, and I want you to play around and learn how to and play with the line tools until you get comfortable with them, okay? All right, the next thing we're going to go through is I'm going to delete these. So there's some ways to delete them. I can use my erasing tool and just click on it and it will be gone. Or I can use my select tool and I can click on it and hit backspace and it will be gone as well. Now I got a couple of dots on here and we'll delete that. Probably have to do that with the erasing tool. Yep. And then I can click on that and erase that one as well. All right, the next thing we're going to go through is we're going to go through the rectangle tool. When you click on the rectangle tool, same thing applies. You can hold down the mouse and make it as big as you want and let go, and it solidifies it. Or you can go in and type the dimensions in. So if I want a perfect square that is 2 inches by 2 inches, rather than having to worry about making sure that it is, I can type 2, 2, enter, and it snaps to 2 inches. So there's a 2 by 2 square in the middle. Okay, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. All right, I want you to stop the video now, and I want you to practice using the rectangle tools. And then start it when you're ready to go. All right, next we're going to erase these and we're going to start drawing our pattern. Now I can also circle this and erase that. Just hit my backspace and it's gone. All right, let's see how much you know. I want you to draw a rectangle that's exactly 4 inches by 4 inches in the middle of your paper. Okay, so there it is. It's exactly 4 by 4 and it's in the middle of my paper. If you need to move it, of course, you can move it anywhere you want to make it as close to the middle as possible. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to put a wing on the outside of each side of this box. The wing is going to be 1.25 by 4 inches. So here we go. I can either do it this way, and you can see that it's kind of inaccurate, or I can type in 1.25, 4 and hit enter, and it snaps to where I want it to go. All right, at this point, you can draw one of those on each side, or you can click on it and duplicate. Control D duplicates it, move it. You can duplicate it again, and then you can rotate that, and then you can duplicate it and have this one on the bottom side. Okay, stop the video until you're to this point where you have the 4 wings on the sides. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is you have one more set of rectangles that need to be put on here. Okay, I'm going to click on my rectangle tool again, and on the outskirts of this, I need you to put another rectangle that's 1/4 inch or 0.25 by 4 inches. And again, notice how it snaps